Hi everyone, welcome to Reading with Eve, and let's get on with the bookish video. Today I am starting yet another mini-series of videos, and I know some of you might be thinking, don't you already have like 5 of those going? And yes, that is correct, but I like to think of ideas that will generate me content just continuously. And I feel like mini-series is the best way to do that because I'll always come up with something, especially since they're mainly themed. So before I start, I'll just quickly walk you through the mini-series that are running on my channel now. The one series that has ended but kind of evolved into something else. I have done what I called Keep or Delete, going through my Amazon TBR, where I just went through all the books that I have added onto my Amazon wishlist, which is my digital TBR essentially. Saves me from like putting it on lists and just typing everything out a million times. And I just talked about why I put those books on there. Do I think I'm still gonna read them, or do I want to get rid of them? And I thought it was quite educational as far as my reading taste goes. Has it evolved? Why some books stayed there for so long without me buying and reading them? So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I ended up keeping a lot more than I deleted, which I do think is a good thing. And yeah, I think I had like 5 videos or 6 for that, and it's ended now, but it has developed into what I call my TBR journey, because that's how making TBR videos works best for me. I found the traditional way is just not really my forte. I say traditional way, just how I've seen a lot of people do it. So what I am doing now, monthly, I go through, again, my digital TBR, and I just walk you through the books that I've added that month, why I added them, how soon do I think I can get to them, just so you have an idea of the sort of stuff that I might buy in the near future, or I don't know, at some point this year, and then eventually you'll see them pop up in my book hauls and my wrap-ups. And then every quarter I do a physical TBR where I think of something a bit more entertaining for myself and for you guys, either prompts or having someone pick them out for me, or just some kind of decision wheel sort of thing where it's completely random. But yeah, it's a little bit of everything there. So that's one series. And then I have more time-consuming series, I should say. It's called Author Deep Dive. It's pretty much what it sounds like. I go through the whole bibliography of an author and talk about just the plot in general, spoiler-free of course, characters, any themes that kind of overarch between books. And then I give my personal ranking. However, as you can imagine, for authors that have like 2-3 books, it's pretty easy, right? But for those like Lisa Jewell or Riley Sager, who have like 10 plus basically, it is a feat. It is a journey to have them all done. So I am slowly but surely sort of sludging through, getting some done. I have plans, because I've not really uploaded a video for that one since like December, but we'll get there. Don't worry, but that's my point. At least I have others to keep the channel rolling. And then I have another one that is quite time consuming, just because, I mean, I decided that it should be a thing. But basically I go through Taylor Swift albums, and I match thriller, horror, any kind of like dark fantasy-ish books to songs from that album. And it is hard to match up songs from like love-related themes to thriller and horror, but I thought, you know what, I like a challenge. So it's definitely still a thing. I've just been stuck on one song for the next album that I'm doing, and as soon as I find a book that fits that, then that video is pretty much ready to go. And then the next one that I'm doing, it's pretty much an infinite pool of ideas. It's themed recommendations. Currently I'm mainly focusing on tropes, but I might do like age groups or length, or like maybe year of publication, just we'll see. I mean, that's what I mean. There's so many ideas so far. If you're interested, I've done psychological horror, cult thrillers, dark academia, isolated thrillers, like all sorts of stuff. If you can just have a look at the sort of videos I uploaded on my channel page if you would like to see what I've done so far. And I have tons more ideas. Now that I gave you just a bit of an inkling as to what else you can expect, here's the start of a brand new miniseries, and that is, if you liked this film or this TV show, then you should check out these books. And I know it's not a new thing, but I thought, you know what, I love films and TV. I mean, I could have like a whole separate channel talking about that stuff. I mean, I don't see myself creating multiple channels, so if I really want to talk about some movies and whatnot, then I'm probably just gonna upload it here, but we'll see about that. So I thought, yeah, it's as simple as it sounds. I will pick a TV show and just go through some books that I think match the vibe of that TV show or movie in some way. So for today's video, I have picked Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. It's just such a classic, and it's earned that spot in TV history. I mean, I don't think I can say much more about this show other than what's already been said, but it truly deserves all the credit that it's been getting. I mean, it's not perfect, but as far as I'm concerned, it was revolutionary for its time. It's still revolutionary today. The characters, the dynamics, the storylines, they're amazing. And yeah, I said I still have some qualms with it, but that's just me being picky. But overall, I would definitely recommend it to anyone and everyone. And I mean, if I ever do make some videos talking about TV shows and stuff, this will definitely be one of them. Because even though everything's already been said, I feel like, you know what? Why not? I would have a lot to say. So I do have 4 books, and I will just walk you through what the books are, and I'll talk about why I am recommending to try them out if you liked the show. So the first book I would like to recommend is This Is Not a Test by Courtney Summers, and this is a zombie apocalypse type of story featuring our main character Sloane, who is extremely depressed, and she gets locked in a school during a zombie attack alongside 5 other people, and she's depressed. She does not want to live. She would throw herself to the zombies if she had the chance, but other people that are trapped with her they're kind of relying on her to get it together as much as possible and pull through and survive this. And it's one of my favorite horror books and books of all time. I mean, I read it 8 years ago, so I'm not sure how I would feel if I reread it now, but I mean, I love Courtney Summers' writing, so I think it would still be a favorite. But regardless, the reason I'm recommending it is we all know Buffy's depression arc in season 6 and how that affected the show and how it affected her character. And I just think that the way Sloane's depression is presented in this book, it is such a parallel, because when Buffy is depressed in season 6, the only reason she pushes through and puts up this front is for others, and then she kind of learns to find joy in her life, however messed up it may be again. And I think that for Sloane, it's also kind of similar in a sense that she does not want to live. And in this world with like zombies and everything, the conditions to, you know, not live, I mean, really simple, but she has these people that need her and people who actually want to live, and she kind of looks at them and tries to just compile whatever shred of willingness to survive she has. And in this book and in Buffy, the supernatural aspects, the horror aspects, they work as a backdrop to look at characters and study their emotions. And with Buffy, it's always been like that. And in this book, I think it's also captured really well. So I would definitely suggest to check it out. Animation is a bit more on the nose, and that is Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This is more of a general vampire lore type of recommendation rather than some specific characters. And we follow this group of suburban housewives who have this true crime book club. And our main character, Patricia, she is just bored and unappreciated by her husband. Her kids don't want to spend any time with her, so that book club for her is her main solace. And then one night on the way back from this club, she gets attacked by this elderly woman, and then she somehow feels bad for it, so she goes to apologize to the woman's nephew that the woman attacked her. I mean, don't even get me started on that. But as soon as she makes contact with this guy, weird things start happening as he sort of starts inserting himself into her life. And vampires. I mean, basically, we already know that it's going to be vampires, but it takes a while for the book to get there. I mean, I have my opinions about this book, so I'm not going to get into them now. I've already spoken about it, but I feel like if you're talking about a vampire show, then this is pretty stable recommendation as far as it goes, because it does feature kind of a more traditional vampire lore with the whole blood-sucking and not being able to enter houses you're not invited to, like all of that stuff. I could just feel like it's a good representation, and Buffy also has that bit of a more traditional vampire representation, and the whole like bit of a sexualized aspect of it, which is present in the book as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend for that mainly, because there aren't really characters similar to characters in Buffy in this book. If anything, it's quite the opposite for the most part. So yeah, bear that in mind if you are going to check that out. Which might sound a bit strange, but I will explain, is Nine House by Leigh Bardugo. And this is a dark fantasy horror. I mean, for me, it definitely was horror. And we follow Alex, who she has a gift of essentially, to oversimplify it to an extent, she sees dead people, basically. And these dead people, they have the power to hurt her when she sees them. And she lives a very tragic life. She's a survivor of this massive homicide event, and all these drugs and drinking to just try to tune that gift out. I use gift because, yeah, it's horrible. Like, she's such a tragic character when you think about it, but she gets this second chance to attend Yale out of all places. Not for her, like, scholarly activities or anything, but for said gift, because she is meant to be helping this prestigious secret society with their occult-like activities using her gift. So the reason that I picked this is because Alex's character kind of reminded me of Buffy in a sense that they are both lonely in their abilities, their gifts, and their kind of, I would say, it's not so much about destiny, because obviously Buffy's destiny is to be a slayer, whilst Alex, I wouldn't say it's her destiny to see these things, but point is that they have these abilities, and that kind of alienates them from everyone else, but also everyone else needs them. They are both they can be quite hard, and they can shut off, they can be reclusive, and untrusting of others. I mean, completely valid. I would say that Buffy's definitely not been through so much before the show started as Alex has been through so much before, like, the main events of the book. Because, like, the flashbacks are brutal. Like, they really, like, definitely check trigger warnings if you're picking this one up, because I was not expecting it to be so graphic. But if you are equipped to handle that, then I would say check it out, because I drew some character similarities when I was thinking what books to recommend. So yeah, do pick it up. I've not read the sequel, so I have no idea how that's gonna go about. But yeah, I was I was quite intrigued by this book, even if fantasy's not my thing. But yeah, it's not going to be for everyone, so do keep that in mind. And the last book I would like to recommend, a bit of a tonal shift from these three. It's more of a homage to the Monster of the Week episodes that the show would have, especially in the earlier seasons. And that is Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer. And this is basically a horror comedy about these four friends. They're just these bored housewives again. You see the similarities. And they have these wine nights to just entertain themselves until one of their friends is like, they're renovating their shed in the garden for these wine nights, and they open the ground to do so, just construction stuff. And then once that happens, their friend starts acting really strange, like she's not herself. And yeah, it's essentially a comedic take on an exorcism. And it just reminded me of all those episodes where one of the gang would get possessed by something. Like Xander was possessed by a hyena. Then Willow was kind of possessed by this guy in the computer. I mean, Buffy herself was kind of compelled by a spell. And I mean, it's just a few on top of my head. There's loads more. The people in, what was it, Ginger something episode where they wanted to burn them at the stake. Just like all of these hijinks in those Monster of the Week episodes, they carry the same energy as this book for me. And it was the gang kind of coming together and realizing that something is wrong with them. We need to figure it out and just get them back to how they were. Like, for me, that was the vibe that I got from the friendship in this book. So yeah, definitely check this one out. I just wanted to finish on a slightly lighter note because the other three can be a bit dark. And that is it. If you like this video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, maybe subscribe. I would love to keep building my little community, and I hope to see you next time.